I was going to say I'll be back after this this phone cuts itself off. Anyway, back to the point. Bereshith is the feminine is a word that is talking about the Spirit of God, and it's in the feminine tense. It's very important that people do not exaggerate on this and say, well, that's just the Hebrew grammar, and that's this, and that's just that. Think about this for a second. Just think about this. In everything in the universe, there is a yin and a yang. There is a male and a female. There is a plus and a minus. Are you saying that God is a plus without a minus or a minus without a plus? Come on. God is both male and female, okay? It says in the Bible. Stop overcomplicating this and stop, with your nonsense. Anyway, then it further goes on. It says, Alpine Hamayim. Now, how did I write Hamayim there? Hamayim. In modern Hebrew, it is spelled He, Mem, Yod, Yod, or originally it probably would have been Yod, Mem. But I just put a He and a Mem there. Why is that? The Mem says itself. The Mem repeats itself. It also says itself. At least that is Petrovich's interpretation of the Hebrew text. I mean, the reason why I write things this way is because in ancient times, it was just hard to make out words. It's just hard to make out words, and this is just how it would have to be understood. Either that, or or there's words that we don't know anymore. And I mean, if they're in Aramaic and Arabic and all those sort of things, but I'm not too drawn into that opinion. I mean, I think that if they would have picked up this script in Egypt, it probably would have been very proto. Here I have Wayomer Elohim Yehi Or Wahi Or. So what do I have representing the E sound? I have the two sticks that go this way. And in Egyptian, they would have been sort of like pictures of knives. And two of them made the E sound. This can also be found in the phrase where some of the hieroglyphs are, they explain how there were 6 Hebrews of Bethel, the beloved. That's another theory of Petrovich. I'm not saying everything Petrovich says is correct. I'm just saying, because really I don't think it is. I think that I think maybe Jeff Benner could use a little bit of knowledge of Egypt culture and how people would have understood things back then, in terms of how the Hebrew language probably, or the Hebrew script probably would have came about, because the letters do quite resemble some of the hieroglyphs. And I believe equally Petrovich could use some Hebrew education on how the Hebrews thought, because, these weren't abstract people. Okay, and I'll tell you something else. We read the in the Bible, where it seems to say that God made us in His image. That's impossible. That's impossible. There's no way we're in His image. This right here, this is the ego. This is the flesh. This is not spirit. Jesus describes God as spirit, meaning that God is omnipresent. It says in Exodus, Ehya, Esher, Ehya. And this means that I am. period. I am that which I am. I am all things. That's what it's saying, basically. It's not talking about a man in the sky. You see, ruach in Hebrew means spirit. And from this other guy named Enlighten. Now, he has a channel called Enlighten, and this is one of the mystical knowledge channels. I wouldn't go by every single thing he says because, of course, you might be limited. Let's just put it that way. You might be limited because he's sort of got this, he's got his own doctrine. Let's just put it that way. But he reveals that ruach, spirit and wind and all that stuff would have been, and consciousness would have all been wrapped up into one word called ruach. And this word means consciousness, more literally. And what's interesting about the wind, the reason why this is connected to the wind, is what happens when you hold your nose and you close your mouth. You keep your mouth closed, hold your nose. Do that for about 30 minutes and see what happens. You probably won't even need to do it for 30 minutes. You'll be passed out on the ground because you've lost consciousness. You see, and the word ruach in Hebrew means consciousness. It is your breath. It is your spirit. And so the great I am is basically the great consciousness. It should be understood very clearly that this great I am and the great I am concept is in many other languages. The word for God in Hebrew, for God's main title that is everywhere in the Bible, I mean everywhere, is Yahweh. Yud He Wah, or He, or possibly Yud He Wah. I'm kind of skeptical there. I don't know exactly how it would have been spelled in the Proto-Hebrew. I want to say the He probably wouldn't be there, but I don't want to necessarily make an assumption. If I write it down, I'm probably not going to put it there. But that's just because I know that's what that says, and I'm not, I'm not claiming to be Moses' tape recorder or anything like that, but yeah, even in the Hindu Upanishad, not that which the eye can see, but that which by the eye can see. And this is the end of the video because I'm ran out of time.